What better way to warm up on a cold day in Baltimore than a bowl of stew? And how do you make that? You throw it in the crock pot, you turn the heat on high, and after a couple hours, you got yourself a hearty meal. That's what this felt like, a crock potting in Baltimore as the Ravens down the Houston Texans 34-10. It's a score that suggests an easy game, but it wasn't that for at least a half. It honestly looked pretty dicey. The Ravens offense comes out inconsistent. They've got just as many 3-and-outs as scoring drives in the first half. By the time the Texans get a Steven Sims punt return touchdown, it's 10-10 heading into the half. You're thinking about past playoff failures by the Ravens in the Lamar Jackson era. Maybe you're starting to get nervous. Well, fret no more, Ravens fans. This team came out fired up after halftime. 3 scoring drives on their first 3 possessions of the second half, and it turned into a laugher. Like I said, you turn up that heat in the crock pot, and some meat that was tough to deal with at the start gets awfully tender by the end. Lamar Jackson, sensational. Second 100-yard rushing performance of his season. He rushes for 2 touchdowns. The passing stats aren't gaudy, but oh man, were they efficient. Every time the Ravens needed a big pickup, he was there. They converted just 6 third or fourth downs in this game. Lamar personally responsible for 4 of them with his arm or with his legs. He puts the finishing flourish on it with a hefty long touchdown run there at the end of the game to really put this thing out of reach. Ravens defense, I think, is the true story of this game. Lamar was incredible. Don't get me wrong. A fantastic performance, but Mike McDonald's guys had CJ Stroud under duress all day. It was like the Texans offensive line wasn't even there. Irony, Baltimore didn't finish with a sack in this game, but the variety of different blitzes with pressure coming from the edge, CJ Stroud never had time. He averaged just 5.3 yards per attempt. The downfield passing game was not there to offset the lack of a run game. The Texans offense, 3-and-out after 3-and-out after 3-and-out. They didn't go over 200 yards until their final possession of this game. I'll say it one more time. A crock potting starts off dicey, starts off nervous. Maybe you're worried about the Ravens handling business, and by the end, it looked like a laugher thanks to Mike McDonald and his defense setting the stage for Lamar Jackson and company. They move on to the AFC Championship game. It's their 5th in franchise history, their first since 2012, and believe it or not, their first ever in Baltimore. They have always had to go on the road prior to this, but we know officially now next week it'll be the Baltimore Ravens hosting either the Buffalo Bills or the Kansas City Chiefs.